Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/ask Reddit by Planet Reddit. What's the dumbest thing you got in trouble for in school? One time back in elementary school I asked to use a bathroom and the teacher said no, so I just left class to use the bathroom. Respect. I wouldn't have done that, but when you gotta go, you gotta go. So dumb how you can go when they say you can. My primary school only let kids go at certain times, but then there was the slight problem of 5-year-olds wetting themselves, so they introduced a ban on drinking water to stop them needing to go. I'm not even kidding. They banned kids from drinking water, dehydrating us throughout the day. I used to get dry skin and headaches all the time because I couldn't drink for 7 hours, leading to a tendency of forgetting to drink at home since I was so used to going hours without water. But my secondary school made it worse. They allowed water, but they locked the toilets. Anyone who was taking too long because of medical conditions or illnesses was either told to hurry up or locked in. This also meant we couldn't wash our hands since the sinks were in the locked bathrooms. Lord help you if you had dirty hands or needed to throw up. And God have mercy if you were a girl on your period. Even worse if you started one during the day and couldn't put a pad on or use a tampon because there was nowhere private to do it. It became unbelievable once the pandemic started. The best defense was washing your hands, even if the kids were at low risk. What about their older family members? So it stood to reason that the toilets should be unlocked to let the kids wash their hands to keep themselves and their families safe. Bearing this in mind, did the school unlock the toilets? Pretty sure both of these schools were technically on the wrong side of the law, since they were denying kids their fundamental human rights to hydration and sanitation. Absolute madness. I sneezed. My BCH of an art teacher says that's an infraction. Infractions were these things given out for poor behavior. There was this tail list of punishments based on the number of them you had at the end of the week. I begin to defend myself when she cuts me off and goes, "Don't you talk back to me or I'll give you another." Fucking hate teachers like that. Harry Potter and the audacity of this BCH. Edit. Guys, I stole a meme and got rewarded WTH. I think that's book 5. Laughing. Not dumb because I was laughing, but it was dumb because of what I was laughing about. I was in 6th grade and the radiator/heater just started making these juicy behind fart noises. Like I really could not contain it. It sounded like big ole human wet farts. I was red in the face trying to breathe and contain it. She sent me out to the hall and almost with a referral. My god, it was hilarious though. I still laugh remembering the noise and I'm graduated. I laughed reading your vivid description and imagining it. I can see why you couldn't contain it. Sam here. A kid stole my holographic Charizard Pokemon card and told the teacher he saw me try to steal it from his backpack so that I couldn't claim he stole it. The teacher believed him because he said that my family was too poor to buy me toys, which was basically the truth. Ugh, what that sucks so much. What grade were you in? In 2nd grade. Miss Warner, if you're reading this, you deserve to get a paper cut while grading each amendment. Some kid stealing my lunch. Wait, what? How did you get in trouble? Well, apparently yelling "Hey, get back here with my arcing cinnamon bun" isn't acceptable in a lunchroom setting, but hey, I was fat as hell and it was the last one in the box we had at home, so I had my right to be mad. Almost our whole year got a lunchtime detention cause we weren't wearing school approved footwear for sports. Had to be completely white. So stupid. WTH. Sexually harassed by another student. I told him to fuck off. I got suspended. He didn't. Ah yes, the age-old way of handling sexual harassment in school. Victims should just shut up and take it. That's the only part I'm proud about my middle school. A guy was caught harassing a female student. Our vice principal taught him a new one. It was to the point where we could scream throughout the school. It made it very clear that sexual harassment would not be tolerated, and that's how it should be. Yeah, I got harassed in school. Told my teacher about it and he got suspended for 2 days. Another dude had taped the harassment, not as evidence. He thought it was funny, and he got suspended for 1 day. BTW, what those guys did was not too bad to deserve anything more. The principal then told me that it is happening often and they will take action if both of them try to pull shit like that ever again. The world has become a better place. cutting the bus seats open and putting yogurt and odd things inside of them. Wasn't me though. It was the dude sitting next to me. They just assumed it was you, or the guy said it was you. They had a camera that was at the front of the bus. They ended up pulling the camera and tried charging both of our parents to replace the bus seat. But the camera only proved who sat in the seat, not who did it. So we didn't end up paying for it. Reading a book. I started to read a Reading Olympics book annual reading competition my school participated in, while I waited for the rest of my class to complete the individual class walk. Teacher yelled at me, so I put it away and started playing games on my calculator. Teacher had no problem with that. Oh goodness. I feel for you. I had just bought the second book in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It was expensive back then because it was an overseas publication and not yet released in the US. At the end of class, when I was done with everything, I pulled it out to read. The teacher took it up and said I could have it back at the end of the year. I didn't realize how much that teacher hated me until then. She left the book sitting on her desk, near the corner, while she went out in the hall. Fortunately, I have older siblings and knew that was a setup. I made her life hell after that. Every day, when I finished, I asked loudly what I should do next. If she said read a book, I would state okay. But why couldn't I do that on date she took my book? I always finished early too. Good news is I did get my book back at the end of the year. She also loosened up a bit after another student got stuck to the table and couldn't leave for a while after the bell rang. In grade 6 we were playing dodgeball in gym. I had terrible aim but a decent arm. I hit a kid in the nuts. He started crying. Boom. Principal's office. Ucking BCH of a supply teacher. And to think that a kid knocked me out on purpose with a football to the back of my head and didn't get in trouble. Somehow the teachers managed to screw up both ways. Someone gave me a bloody nose and cracked my new glasses. But I'm the one who got in trouble for refusing to keep playing. I was tapping my pencil on the table. My teacher thought I was doing the in between the fingers gang knife game. I told her multiple times I wasn't, but she still didn't believe me. Wow, that's whack. I feel the times we got in trouble for dumb reason is because they are having a bad day or projecting their personal problems. I did something similar in mentor group, basically homeroom. I was sitting pretty close to the teacher and I tapped my pen on the desk like 20 times. This other kid who was sitting further away tapped his pen once and got sent outside immediately while I received no punishment. I bet him she did not hear me and he got unlucky, but still. She was a BCH and still kind of is. Putting a paper plane under someone's seat behind them. The kid was a drama queen who said I was trying to hurt him and the teacher bought it. Nearly got sent to the principal because apparently what I did was equivalent to placing a drawing pin under one's seat. The teacher actually used that analogy. Think that takes the cake for dumbest way of getting in trouble. The teacher would also act differently according to who was involved. Some kid punched another in the face with a substantial amount of force. When the student reported the puncher to the teacher, she just told both of them off for wasting the teacher's time. Gave a kid spicy Asian candies in like 3rd grade BC. He said he could handle spicy. Kid had to go to the nurses and I had to go to the principal's office, lol. Should have given him lightly salted Lays. Whoa buddy, we don't want a murder. Carrying a keychain in the shape of an anime sword. They said it was a knife. I had a shirt with a green Super Mario mushroom on it that said 1UP. Apparently it was drug paraphernalia. Damn Mario taking those immortality shrooms again. Getting a C in an exam. Never was a straight A student anyway, so that wasn't even anything special. But my parents had to come to a meeting and the teacher told me that it's okay to cry now. Edit. Also my whole class got locked in once because the teacher lost his pen and accused us of stealing it. Annie Edison would like to know your location. Literally got ran into the halls. Turns out it was my fault for not seeing the kid. He ran into me from behind and came around the corner. The teacher says I got in his way, apparently just the direction that we were walking told her nothing. For context, this was in Florida. A girl hit herself in the face with a seatbelt and got a black eye. She told her mom, who got mad at the bus driver. My friend and I got in trouble because we were sitting behind her. Her friend who was also sitting next to me, didn't get in trouble. Now, her friend had bullied me and they were both holes that got me in trouble on purpose. My friend was white. She went to the office and was like it was reading and they were like, okay, checks out, go ahead. I am not. I got stuck in the office for most of the day. Had to write an apology letter. My mom was called. And I got bus suspension. They can't suspend you from the bus. Also, what buses seat belts? They did. My mom had to drive me to school for a week. And I DK almost all the school buses I've been on. Catholic high school. End of year before. Seniors put on a skit giving nicknames to each Christian brother. Guy with dandruff equals sugar bear. Guy with narrow face and swoopy nose equals possum. And so on. Well, start of the next year. I guess I did not get the memo that the brothers had laid down the law that using those names would not be tolerated. After football practice in the locker room we are all getting berated for not enough hustle, or something traditional, and it got to a point where I said, come on posse. Possum was also coach. He grabbed me by the hair and caved in the door to one of those little 12x12 lockers by banging the back of my head against it several times. Decades ago. Things happened every week in Catholic school that would be national news today. What the actual luck would compel a grown behind adult to beat a child and slam him into a locker? Good God, some people have no place working in schools. Some people have no business being alive. Using a very dark navy blue sweater, we could only wear navy. I fought with the director telling her it's blue, but she said it was black. Ugh, stupid school rules. We're there to learn WTF. I would have taken off my damn shirt and shoved it in her face under a lamplight or something. Always have a tank top on undershirts. I ate half a bar of onion soup in front of a class. Get fucked. But how did it taste? Like cilantro. Seriously? Picking mulberries and throwing them at squirrels. Did they say it was dangerous for the squirrel or what? I quote, you could have hit a student. Dot. I was on the far side of the yard and the nearest person was 50 feet away. Pretty sure you can chuck a mulberry that far unless you had a wrist rocket. We had soda can plus plastic bottle collection drive in our school. I was in charge of it and on the last day I went with my friend to look at the results of my work. The pile was huge and I said, holy shit, that's a lot. My friend ran to the principal's office and complained against me for swearing. The principal proceeded to call my parents. Wow, that's so dumb. Were you still friends with the guy afterwards? Yeah, we were still friends. We anyways weren't that close anyways, more like good classmates. Defending someone who was being bullied. My age group was among the first of the no tolerance policies. I ended up with 1 day of in-school suspension. That my dad convinced them to be out of school suspension because he was going to teach me a lesson. My lesson that day was a round of golf, with a nice lunch and a day off of school. Good for you. Your dad also sounds awesome. Oh, it was just a knee jerk. Hey, get off him. Scuffle. Nothing heroic. I was actually pretty scared waiting for my parents and principal to come out of his office. My parents were pretty strict in general. On the car ride home it was one of those we aren't punishing you. It was the right thing to do. But you have to be aware of these rules at school. Talks, and a fun day with dad after that. Join our community Discord, link in description. Shouting RAWR in the bathroom in 2nd grade. I got a referral. RAWR. RARXD. Wearing a sweatshirt that said guess on it. Apparently it meant I wanted the boys to guess my bra size. Did you explain it to the teachers? I tried, but they had already made up their minds. My mum gave them a good yelling after she found out though. Pushing the dean's finger out my face. The FCK, an invasion of privacy. Disrespectful F. Catholic school. Priest drank the rest of the wine in the chalice around the end of mass and I told my classmates he was going to get drunk. Friend told on me because he thought God would punish him if he didn't. Had to go to confession and my hippie mum had to have a meeting with the priest and the teachers. Went surprisingly well. Priest was cool, teachers were butthurt. I was like 13. Surprisingly I was left unbutthurt. Edit. Catholic school, that shit ucked me up for years. Had another teacher tell me to read about the Divine Comedy Inferno at like age 12. Years after, I left a review of my Catholic school. It said, if you love your kids don't send them here. The only suicidal time in my life was while I was in this school. I fucking hated Catholic school. It's a kid behind. I got bullied a lot just for not having enough money to buy what those rich stereotypes eat in the cafeteria. Got expelled for ditching on senior ditch day. Excuse me, what? Yay. Whole graduating class ditched. I was one of many drivers to Disneyland. I was the only one expelled. Standing up, throw away a tissue I blew my nose in. Then I got sent outside in front of everyone. Fuck you, Ms. Capital A. Farting in class. For working on an AP Governor project in my engineering teacher's classroom during lunch break, even though I had his permission to do so before he left for a meeting. You want a ridiculous but topical one? My friend has just gone back to work as a teacher in North London, and she's just been told by her senior management she has to give out yellow warnings to any of the very few students remaining who are wearing a face mask that's not in school colors. As in, face masks aren't compulsory, but if you wanna wear one, it has to match the uniform. Not me, but my mom. She was 6, went to Sunday class and the teacher asked her what her religion was. My Oma always told my mom that she could decide to be whatever religion she wanted to be, so my mom said so. The teacher grabbed her and threw her on the desk in front of the whole class. She pointed her finger at my mom and wrathfully said, "Class, this is what an atheist looks like," and the class proceeded to chant atheist, atheist for what seemed like an eternity. My Oma was pissed when she found out. She went back to the school and tore that teacher a new one. There was this racist kid at school and he called me a wetback in the locker room. Naturally, I picked up his shoes and threw them in the shower. I got detention for throwing another student's shoes in shower area. He didn't get anything. In first grade, we were playing a game with random behindigned partners and I got this rule following girl as my partner. We were rolling dice in the game, and I ended up throwing my dice high in the air and letting it fall for my roll. The girl decides to tell on me because we were supposed to roll the dice on the floor only. I thought my teacher would understand that it wasn't a big deal, but my teacher ended up signing my planner for that day. My buddy and I were playing catch with an apple core, throwing it over the top of the school jungle gym. Sent to the principal's office we were. In my high school government class we were watching a movie, and in the movie the guy playing the president said "Ark." So I said fairly loudly so that the teacher and entire class would hear the president just said "Ark." It got the laughs I was looking for, but it also got me sent out into the hallway. While I was out there, my English teacher came walking by and asked what I had said to get kicked out of class. So I told him and he laughed and kept walking. He had kicked me out of class a few times by then, so he knew how I was. I was in a boarding school, and I got into trouble because I was late for breakfast for 2 days. My parents were phone called that your child is not punctual. Looking up alcoholic beverage recipes on a school-issued computer. TBH, that sounds like it would be for a project more than breaking the rules. I went to a Catholic grade school, and one day while doing a project in class I accidentally said orgasm when I meant to say organism. The 2 nun teachers looked incredibly disgusted and shocked, then banned me from the computer lab for the rest of the week. It was literally an innocent mistake. Still pisses me off, and this was 25 years ago. I was in 2nd grade. It was the very first day of learning how to do addition problems in which both numbers had 2 digits. The teacher explained the steps of solving the problems to the class and passed out a worksheet. She then instructed us to only do the first 2 problems on the worksheet and then wait for her to come around and check our work, because she wanted to be very sure that everyone understood what they were supposed to be doing before we continued. To make sure everyone followed these directions, she said that anyone who did more than the first 2 problems would get their card turned to red and be sent to the responsibility center, where you sat on the floor in the special math help teacher's room and did nothing instead of going out to recess. She told us to start on the problems, so I did. I quickly got the hang of them and forgot all about stopping after the 2nd problem. I finished the whole first row and was caught when the teacher came around to check our work. I doubt she wanted to follow through with her threat or even expected that she would have to, but my card was turned to red, and when it was time for recess, I was sent down to the responsibility center. It was a very big deal to me at the time because I was known to be smart and usually very well behaved in school, and it was the first and only time I did something to earn a punishment that severe. Looking back, I actually had massive anxiety about messing up in elementary school because I knew that my parents and all of my teachers knew I was smart and pretty mature, and as a result I felt the constant need for adult approval and constant pressure to not be one of the bad kids. Luckily I'm a bit better about stuff like that now. Responsibility Center is such an Orwellian name for a punishment room. WTF. Having a drawing of a gun legit almost got me suspended. For studying for my science exam during a class I did not give a luck about. Told the teacher this was more important right now and she went apeshit. I guess that was pretty cheeky though. This is a story I haven't told for a while. In 10th grade, private school, I have a laptop that costed $4,330. There was some kid who thought it would be cool to try to take it from my bag while it was next to me. I don't know WTF was going through his head because back then I was 6'3" and did damn near every sport. I quickly grabbed him and said quietly, "The yuck you think you're doing?" He has the nerve to swing at me. He missed, so I just grab his leg and pick him up by it like he's a fish. The teacher, who claimed to have seen it all, proceeds to run at me like he's a cop. He actually tried to tackle me. I took 2 steps back just before he got to me and he flew straight past me. I laugh and say, "Oh, what?" as I slowly put the kid down. The teacher turns around and I shit you not says, "You are going to be arrested for bet and alt on a classmate and a teacher." I calmly just ignored him and reached for my bag and left the room. He then proceeds to follow me down the hall till I got to the principal's office where I explained to him what all happened, and in short he said, "Do not bring something that expensive to school again. You will be suspended for only a few days because you have not done things like this before. And I will make sure to fire that teacher." I have now graduated and still use the laptop to this day. Sorry I made this so long. I'm not the best at telling stories, so I will try to answer any questions you'll have. I got in trouble because I refused to go to the school dance that my mom told the teacher I wasn't going to. I don't have overly sensitive hearing, but I get easily startled anxious around loud noises. I could feel the music in my ribcage all the way in the principal's office while I tried to explain why I was awkwardly wandering the halls. This was around kindergarten and I was barely speaking English. I come from a Hispanic family that also barely spoke any English. Basically I had trouble making friends in school, but I got to a point where I was starting to get a little more comfortable with my classmates, all because of a little club I had to join because of my English. It would be in the middle of the day where a different teacher would take me and a couple of students to a different room to practice English and social skills. I got to a point where I didn't need to go to that club anymore because I got so good at my English it wasn't necessary. Now the first couple of days I got to talk to kids in my class, but I saw this specific group of kids that I never got to actually talk to, but this was my chance. These group of kids in a small table were laughing their butts off to their hands to some reason. All I hear is, "This doesn't count," followed by cop sirens and giggles. I realize they are sticking the middle finger, but my deep bass is like, "That's not how you do it. This is how," and I proudly stick out the hardest, the most straightest middle finger of all time. All the kids started looking at me and became snitches and all made the same cop siren noises as loud as they can, making sure the teacher could hear. The teacher followed up by grabbing my arm and screaming, "WHO taught you that. That is not nice." And that's why I find it weird when someone sticks the middle finger out, and why I was an introvert for half of my middle school years. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.